Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Sean's Horror Corner. As always, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate everybody tuning in. A couple of new subscribers this week, so thank you both so much. I appreciate all of that. You guys are the best, so thank you. And today, my co-host is back. Brendan's back with me again from Our Life in Horror. Brendan, thanks for coming on again. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. We are discussing Scream 6, and I am decked out. I
You
stole Sam's
are.
hat. Took me 15 minutes to find my only Ghostface shirt.
That's awesome. No,
I
I
got
appreciate it though. And I've got a few Ghostface shirts, but with my setup right now, uh, I don't know. I've got to give myself some more space here somewhere because I've got a Ghostface shirt on too, but you can't really see it. Like I have to pull my shirt up in order for people to see what I'm actually wearing. But yeah, so yeah, I like the hat though. You said that was Sam's hat?
yeah, so this is I think she got it from Spencer's.
Okay.
So I think you can get it there. This was like the last one in I don't know. It was the last one we could find anyways, and we spent a while looking. It's even got like a design on the
Oh,
bottom there as well.
nice. All right. I like it. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, looking forward to talking about Scream 6 with you. But before we do, of course, take a minute to promote your channel, talk about anything you might have coming up that you want to promote.
Of course. So I am one half of Our Life in Horror. We do movie reviews. I do a lot of physical media stuff. Um, we do, games nights. We do a lot of lives. Let's see. Coming up, we are doing, I believe, if we'll see how things go, but I believe we're doing a Scream trivia night on the following Monday. And then the following Thursday, I'm going to be joined by that horror couple to talk about The Wretched.
Very cool.
Very excited.
Yeah, awesome. All right, good stuff coming in. Yeah, that I'll be on the Scream trivia with you guys. That'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. I think I might be embarrassed when you start asking questions that I don't know, but yeah, we'll see.
I'm, you know what? This is probably just gonna be. It's probably gonna be trivia just between me and you. But like, I am also in the same boat. I don't know a whole lot of trivia with these movies, so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I do, but the last time I thought I was ready for something trivia wise, people were hitting me with questions, and I'm like, okay, yeah, fuck, I don't know shit apparently. So yeah, I'm very curious to see how hard these questions are going to be, but it'll be fun regardless. All right, let me get my glasses so I can read my notes, and we will jump in there and get started. So, Scream 6, tagline for the film New York, New Rules. Brief synopsis following the latest Ghostface killings, the four survivors leave Woodsboro behind and start a fresh chapter. Film released, it had its premiere at the AMC Lincoln Square Theater on March 6th of 2023, and then was released in theaters March 10th of 2023. Directed, I'm so terrible with these names, but Matt Bettinelli Open, I believe, and then Tyler Gillette. Written by James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick. Produced by William Sherrick, James Vanderbilt, and Paul Neenstein. Cinematography by Brett Jutkowitz. Music Brian Taylor and Sven Faulkner. Distributed by Paramount Pictures. Runtime of 122 minutes. Budget of between 33 and 35 million, and then box office 169.1 million. So did very well at the box office. Briefly mentioned some people from the cast, stat cast here: Melissa Barrera, Jasmine Savoy Brown, Mason Gooding, Jenna Ortega, Hayden Panettiere, Courtney Cox, Jack Champion, Dermot Mulroney, and then Liana Liberato, I believe is how you say it. So we'll start there, and let's start with casting characters. Give me your thoughts on casting characters for Scream 6.
Let's see. I actually enjoy the characters from the last film a lot more in this movie, and that was kind of my initial response with the first time I watched it as well. Is that they're given a lot more time to develop the characters. They develop relationships within the group themselves, which is why I like a lot of this movie because of that. Actually, I think the core four is pretty solid. Chad, I think is that guy is so charming. Like
Yeah,
I also just watched Hard Eyes too, and he's incredibly charming in that. And
yeah.
like that dude's gonna be a big hit for sure.
Oh yeah.
Um, Sorry, just gushing over Chad there.
You're good.
Um, I'd say I think the cast does a good job for pretty much everyone. I don't think there's anybody that really bogged down any of their performances or the rest of the movie in that sense.
Okay.
Uh, maybe Mindy. Mindy got on my nerves a little bit during one sequence of the movie, but that's probably about it. Um, yeah, I think everybody does a great job.
Okay. I'm almost 100% in agreement with you. I do like the core four. I think all four of them are pretty good. I think everybody steps it up from what they did in Scream 5. So I think everybody's good there. Hayden Panettiere's performance is good. I'm going to talk about her for a minute again, though, because so watching this movie and watching her in Scream 6 made me like her more from Scream 4. Looking back, I'm like, yeah, I was a little rough on that character. Kirby was cool in Scream 4. But I don't think she's that great in this. I don't know what your thoughts are. She's just kind of there. I mean, I know there's a lot of excitement for her being back, and that's fine, but I don't know. Her character's just kind of there for me in this one. I appreciate her more in 4 after watching her in 6. I don't know your thoughts on Kirby.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. She is
Okay.
clearly just fanfare shoved in there, just like Gale.
Yeah.
I think what they should have done is taken Gale out and put Hayden and put Kirby in like the full force. Because there's just too much at some point. And they threw her in because it's like, could she be the killer? They do, because she comes in the movie and then she disappears and then she comes back in and then she disappears and she's seemingly doesn't know information that she probably should know.
Yeah.
And it's almost like she's like trying to hide something. That's just kind of like the general feels of it.
Right.
But yeah, she's just shoehorned in here because of like fanfare. Like everybody wanted her to return so much. Yeah. I like her still. Like she still plays Kirby. I don't like there's a scene with her and Mindy, and I kind of rolled my eyes this time watching it where I was like, I mean, do people really talk like that? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Courtney Cox, I mean, her performance is fine, but I'm so over Gale's character. I'm just done. That's one thing going back through this franchise with you as we've been going through these movies. I'm just nowhere near as big a fan of Gale's character as I used to be. But I mean, it is what it is. The only performance that bothers me is Dermot. I think that's how you say it, Dermot Mulroney. Because I've seen him in a lot of stuff, and he's generally pretty good. But for some reason, his performance bothers me in this. He seems very off to me. Now, maybe that's just the character. Maybe he's playing it the way they want him to play it, but I don't know. I don't like his performance in this movie. I'm just not buying it at all. He seems very off and very forced, in my opinion.
Okay. Personally, he didn't really stand out to me. Yeah, I didn't really have a problem with Dermot Mulroney there as Detective Bailey. It didn't really bother me all that much. Are you talking like spoilers, I guess, for anybody who hasn't seen one of the highest grossing Scream movies of all time?
No.
But are you talking like bugged you post finding out he's a ghost face or pre ghost face?
A little bit of both. I just felt like to me, I'm really impressed with the performance when I'm buying you as the character and not an actor. When you seem just like this is you. You're not just acting this role out. This is you. And I don't feel like this is him. I feel like I can tell he's acting something out that's not really him. There's a few scenes before the reveal, and then a couple after the reveal, and I'm just like, I don't buy this at all. And I've seen him in other things. I think he's a good actor. I don't know. Maybe for me, he wasn't the right fit for this because I feel like most of the other stuff that I've seen him in has been comedy related. So maybe that's what's throwing me off a little bit is that I'm not used to seeing him in this kind of role. But I know the last 2 times I've watched this movie, both times I've been just kind of shaking my head at some of the things he does. So, but yeah, maybe that's just me. What about? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I can definitely see like maybe after the reveal, I can see like maybe a few scenes where it's like, okay, dude, you're not Matthew Lillard, like
Yeah.
the Oliphant. You just don't have that charisma to back up
Right.
what you're trying to display on screen.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the only thing that I've seen him in, I think, are like cop roles where he's like a detective or something like that.
Okay.
So during the first like 3/4 of the movie, he didn't really particularly bother me.
Okay.
But I could definitely see when he's trying to do like, the Richie aspect,
Yeah.
the ghost face and losing it. Just it might not work
Okay.
completely, but I mean, the whole third act of this movie for me does not work particularly well. So,
Yeah. That's very
um,
fair.
yeah.
All right. What about cinematography, score, story for this one?
So I think there's a couple opening banger songs. I'll give it
Yep.
that. Like they're very catchy. They're a lot of fun. I actually caught Dewey's theme in this movie.
Yeah.
And then in all honesty, it's just kind of another Scream score. It's just the same thing. It blends in so well that I don't notice it.
Right. I agree with you completely. And I don't know if I caught it before or not. I do exactly what you're talking about. There's a part where Gail's talking a little bit there and you hear Dewey's music and I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. That's okay. But for the most part, yeah, I don't really notice much here either. Story, I'm okay with at times. I like the idea of it. I just don't. I'm with you again. Where I know, not to get too far ahead, but it doesn't end well. I just don't like the end well at all. It was fine up until then, but yeah, I have some story issues with this one. I feel like.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. Like, there's a lot of like, oh, what a coincidence that this lines up, or what a
Yeah,
coincidence that this character was able to find this knowledge so quickly.
yeah,
Um, there's a lot of that in this. There's a couple things I will give credit to this movie is that it's incredibly fast paced.
yes,
Um, like
I
I
agree.
took a pause last night at 55 minutes, and I didn't even realize 55 minutes had passed by. So I thought it was like a half hour. So this movie flies.
I agree.
Um, Another thing I will attribute to this movie is the blue, wearing the color blue killer theory is out the window for this movie
Yeah,
because at some given point, every character is wearing blue.
right.
And I know that's probably just used to throw the fans off, but I was like, I was just kind of curious to look and see if anybody was. Um, and for story, I'll also say this doesn't really count as story, but this is definitely like, this is gore. This is
Oh yeah,
good gore for Ghostface. Like, I was trying to think back of like because we just ran through all these movies, and I'm like, there's a lot more gore in this one than I think in the last like two as well. Like, there's a lot.
yeah. I think so too.
Um, so I was pleasantly surprised by that as well, and I like the idea of where this movie goes. It just like it just doesn't hit.
Yeah.
There's, I don't know. We'll have to talk about it and go through it.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's funny you mentioned the blue because that was a theory. I had heard other theories here and there about Scream, but for some reason I had missed that theory until you mentioned it to me in one of the previous ones we did. So I was watching for it more now than what I have in the past, and watching for it, I'm like, every fucking person in this movie wears blue at some point. So I agree with you. I think it's probably to throw people off a little bit, but yeah, I noticed that also. Um, don't think I have. Let me just go back and double check real quick. Yeah, not a lot of production notes for this one. Obviously, the only Scream film not to feature Nev Campbell due to some pay and contract disputes. It was the first installment in the franchise since Scream 2 to earn over $100 million at the box office. It's the highest grossing Scream film in the franchise in the US and Canada. And then, we talked last time before we did Scream 5 about how, Kevin Williamson was out at that point, but apparently before Spyglass took over in 2019, Williamson had made a pitch for this film to focus on Gail as the main character and would deal a lot with her relationship with Dewey. And yeah, I'm so glad that's not what happened because I'm over Gail and I was tired of the relationship with Dewey. So yeah, I'm glad that we didn't get that. Sometimes I hear these other pitches and I'm like, oh, that would have been interesting. I kind of would like to have seen that. This is a no. I'm glad I didn't have to see that.
Yeah, spoiler alert there. You get 22 minutes of Gale Weathers in Scream 7. You get the most amount of screen time from her since Scream 3, I think.
Interesting. I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, Scream 3 or Scream 4. I can't remember, but yeah, you're getting a lot more Gale in the next film.
Okay. Well, damn, that's disappointing. I still want to see it, but that's disappointing. Yeah, I don't know, man. I used to the first few times I saw a lot of these movies, I really liked her. And of course, I watched the TV show Friends and was familiar with Courtney Cox from that. So I mean, I really liked her in that. But yeah, going through this rewatch, I'm like, damn, why? Why does people like Gale so well? But anyway, yeah, I've talked about that enough, I'm sure, for several episodes. We'll go ahead and jump into the plot and start walking through here a little bit. So we open up 1 year after the last killings. Professor Laura Crane, they're in a bar waiting for a date that she's supposed to have. She ends up getting killed there in the alley. We got an early reveal of a Ghostface killing that threw me off a little bit. We also, this guy named Jason who did kill her, we kind of see that he's familiar with Tara. And then in his apartment, we find out that he and his roommate Greg were trying to finish Richie's film, but Greg is dead and Jason gets killed as well. Give me your thoughts about the opening scene.
I really enjoyed it. Killing off Samara Weaving, I did not enjoy because it's Samara Weaving.
Right.
Huge tragedy there. But I do like that she's a film, college professor. She's talking about slashers in her class. So I like that little analysis of slashers during the phone call. And then she goes ahead and makes every, mistake that a typical girl in a slasher movie would make.
Right.
Let's see. I particularly like the Ghostface reveal at the start. I was like, sweet. Like, let's get this going. Okay, so we know who it is. Let's see how this character is going to maneuver around the group and hide his partner. But let's see how this guy is able to maneuver around the group, without being suspicious, without getting caught, with winning the trust of everybody in that fan group or within the friend group.
Right.
And I was like, this could go somewhere, Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I liked it as well. I thought that was pretty cool. And, I'm with you. I hate the fact that Samara Weaving died, but one of the things she's a great actress, period. But I think her performance for the little bit that she's in this movie is really good. I mean, she's always good, but I just was kind of, when I was watching it the other day to get ready for this, just even in the phone conversations, where like she'll make a comment and then you can tell that she's like embarrassed that she said that or wondering if she should have said that. Then she does, when she's kind of in the alley area, she seems legitimately scared. She even seems nervous talking on the phone to the guy. I just really liked her performance. I thought she was incredibly solid here for this opening, and then to turn around and kill her. Getting that Ghostface revealed there of this Jason guy for a moment surprised me, but then I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. I'm very curious to see where they go with this. And then they turn right around and Ghostface shows up and kills him. I was like, oh, okay, that's not what I thought was happening either. So I really liked the opening. I think her kill is good. I think his kill is good. The body in the fridge that's his roommate Greg looks good. The gore is good there. So yeah, I'm fully on board with the opening as well. Much different than I had been with opening from a couple of the previous ones. I was like, okay, we're back on track. I like this. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
and I don't like that actor who plays. Well, it's not that I don't like him. It's just I think he has like a punchable face. Who plays Jason? Yeah. I don't know. I'm like a huge Spider-Man fan too, also like outside of horror. So he plays the new Flash Thompson in the new Spider-Man films.
Yeah,
and he's such a dink in those fucking movies. So like, and that was the first time I was like introduced to him as a character. So now every time I see him, I'm just like,
that's what you're thinking about.
Yeah, I could just sock you one, dude. You're such a little brat. But he does a really good job in this movie as well. Like I think the whole sequence with him, doing the hot and cold with Ghostface works really well. And like the little shrine he's got and the little bickering he has with Ghostface is really well done.
Yep, I completely agree. We then cut to our main character, Sam. We find out she's in therapy. We find out that there's this online rumor going around that she's, excuse me, behind a lot of the most recent killings. And then we just start meeting everybody. We meet their roommate, Quinn. We get, back in touch with Mindy and her new girlfriend, Annika. We see Tara. We see Chad. We meet Ethan. Sam arrives at this party. We can tell she's very protective of Tara, and they kind of have a moment there. There is a brief mention by Quinn of having a brother that had passed away. We kind of get a hint of a relationship between Chad and Tara. We also find out that Sam's got this new interest, this Danny guy. Detective Bailey is Hannah's dad. He ends up wanting to talk to Sam. She also gets a call from Ghostface. It's on Richie's phone. So quite a bit going on here, but I feel like a lot of it's just setting things up a little bit. But we do get the scene, and I want your thoughts on the scenes there in the convenience store, whatever kind of store that they run into, where Ghostface is chasing Sam and Tara, and the way everything plays out in there. So yeah, give me your thoughts here on all these character interactions, the setup, and then the convenience store.
Well, I think Sam's setup's really good. I think the therapy totally makes sense. I would hope that somebody that goes through such a traumatic experience would seek therapy. I love that. Also, I radio. So the directors are at the team. They're called Radio Silence.
Right.
So if you don't want to say their names, there's a little given sheet for you to get out of it. But Henry, I'm not going to be able to say his last name. Henry Krasinski, we'll say, who plays Dr. Christopher Stone, and Samara Weaving were both in Ready or Not, right? Like they're constant workers with Radio Silence, which I love. So I'm always happy to see when he pops up, and I think he gives a really good performance as well. As soon as she tells him what his story is, he's like, I'm out. This is too much for me, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah, I agree.
As for the party sequence, I think it's fairly well done. You're drunk, you make bad decisions. And unfortunately, people like Frankie, I think that was the douchebag's name, is, people that are going to take advantage of you. And it's nice to have a core group of friends that are going to look after you, and kind of no matter what kind of situation. And it's really shown in that moment. Right. And it translates all throughout the whole film that they're just that close, tight-knit group, right, who truly care for each other and will do anything to protect each other. So I really enjoy that as well. I think the social media aspect is also really well done, because I think now in a time where internet is crazy, Twitter's something, and you can put out one opinion and somebody puts out another opinion, and then it just starts a whole fucking gas dumpster fire. So I think it's true that people would kind of suspect or would make claim that she was kind of the brains behind the whole thing,
right?
So I do like that aspect as well. I do think that the Chad and Tara relationship could have maybe waited about halfway through the film. Seemed a little early to kind of place it there, but give us a little more, give little hints in this moment, and then maybe get into it halfway.
Okay.
I would have enjoyed that a little bit more. I think it would have helped.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. And then the attack in the store. The thing that, the trailers pissed a lot of people off with Ghostface using a gun.
Right.
I mean, I like it. Ghostface always ends up with a gun.
Yeah, it's not brand new.
No, at the end of every movie, Ghostface is holding a gun. Right. I think he just saw an opportunity to take one and took it and tried to use it to his advantage. I think it was incredibly smart. I love the fucking masks. So cool. I love how it's a different look for Ghostface, yet it's the same.
Right.
So him in the grocery store doing all that, I thought looked excellent. Yeah, I like the gun aspect. I didn't mind it at all.
I'm 100% with you, and that's actually the little note that I made here for myself was that a lot of people are upset about Ghostface having the gun, and he has one in every movie. So yeah, I made that exact same note for myself. I don't understand that up for it. I like the scene. I agree with a lot of what you were saying about everything there, and I like the scene as well. There's a little bit of tension, not long because it seems to happen fairly quick, but there's a little bit of tension there when they're trying to, hide from him in the store, and Ghostface seems very aggressive, which I'm good with. I like an aggressive Ghostface. Doesn't seem, one of the things that's a little bit different here, and it may have been in the last one too, now that I think about it, but in the first couple of Scream movies, one of the things that gets talked about with Ghostface a lot, with him being, human all the time, is sometimes Ghostface is a little clumsy and has some moments, here and there where he struggles. This Ghostface does not seem to have those moments, which I think is pretty cool. I like that as well, that we got rid of that. So yeah, I'm really agree with a lot of what you said and fully on board and enjoy this scene. Even the other stuff that was happening in the party, I think it was all fine. I just think that I think here the pacing is a big thing, like what you were talking about, because I think everything flies by. They don't give us too much of any of this. They kind of give us just enough and then, keep flowing. And so I like that. I'm still on board here. I think it's a good setup. Everything goes well. Liking the character. So yeah, I'm fine with everything at this point. And I do like the Ghostface mask thing that you mentioned. I like that as well.
Yeah. I'd also kind of like to say, so in the previous movies, we've seen Ghostface attack during the day and everything else. We've talked about that's a perfect escalation for Ghostface as a killer.
Right.
Maneuvering through the daytime and taking people out in the middle of the front yard as well was something that was kind of big because anybody could see you. Now we get a Ghostface that seems, like you said, he's not clumsy anymore. They're trained. They are trained to do this, as well as they're not afraid to take out anybody that gets in their fucking way either. They're taking out people that are just bystanders in this. Anybody that gets in their way is going to go down. So yeah, I think that's a perfect escalation step for the Ghostface killer to make him terrifying again.
I completely agree. Yeah, I 100% agree with you, because I think this movie does. I think 5 did it fairly well, and I think this movie does it even better. Is that we kind of started to get away from, there's always been some comedy to the Scream franchise, and that's fine. But I do like the fact that I feel like with 5 and especially with 6, that we do get back to Ghostface being scary again. So I like that as well. I'm with you there. We then go to the police station where Detective Bailey reveals that was Richie's mask that was left at the apartment crime scene. They also found Sam's license at the scene. Kirby arrives. We get some interaction there between Kirby and Sam, them talking, and we also find out that the mask that was left at the store belonged to, I didn't catch if it was Charlie or Jill, but one of those two from the previous. Gail arrives, and incredibly frustrating with Gail here, because she immediately shows up and wants to do an interview. And one of the things that I liked about Scream 5 was that she made the comment that she wasn't going to write another novel. If she wrote a book, it would be about Dewey. But we find out pretty quickly here in her interaction with Sam and Tara that she did go back and wrote another book. And I think her excuse was somebody was going to. This is fine. I like the tie-ins that we're getting with the other Ghostface killers. But Gail, man, I just don't like Gail. Give me your thoughts here, if you don't mind.
So I guess what we discussed already, the leaving the masks behind is a really cool move.
Yes.
Although I did make points throughout this movie where I feel like it would have been better if it was Sidney as the main character with this kind of storyline going on. Not in the sense of where the killers end up leading to and everything like that, but in the sense of, it's literally Sidney's life,
right?
In the shrine, in leaving the masks behind. Why wasn't that saved for Scream 7? It would have made so much more sense. It would have been, it would have hurt her mental health also while going through this whole thing. It would have been crazy for her to deal with all that. So I kind of put that through. I made 4 notes about the same point. So don't mind me if I repeat it, but
no, that's perfect. I think it would have made sense. Yeah, that would have been very cool. I completely agree with you. And I do remember reading somewhere, I can't remember which one of the guys from Radio Silence it was, but made the comment about, they were working on the script and the story and had everything together. And then when things didn't work out with Nev Campbell being in the film, he made the comment that they didn't have to do a lot of alterations to the script when, became clear that she wasn't going to be in it. It really makes me wonder what it looked like when they did have her in it, because I think what you were saying makes perfect sense here. And maybe they should have made more alterations and saved that for something when she was going to be back. I agree 100%. So, but it does make me wonder what this looked like when they thought she was going to be in it.
Yeah, exactly. Because the TV with Stu, everything, like people's whole outfits are in there. It's crazy that like Sydney wasn't involved in something like this, and how just it would have affected her character.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was a huge missed opportunity. I hope they definitely come up with something. Well, we all know who all is coming back for Scream 7 now at this point. So I do hope they manage to do something kind of similar along the lines of what we were going to get in this movie.
Yeah.
I was a little confused on how Kirby and Sam knew each other.
I was as well, but they do mention there's a brief conversation in there. I can't remember which one of them says it, but a comment gets made that they went to school together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. That's funny that never got mentioned before, but okay.
Yeah, explained pretty quickly right away. They dropped that line like immediately after, because Detective Bailey was like, you guys know each other? And they're like, yeah, she was a freshman when I was a senior in high school or whatever. And it's like, were you guys though? Because I guess I don't know what the age difference is between them, but I was like, I don't know. It's not really making any sense to me. But
it seems a little odd, because we know that Sam was babysitting the kids in Scream 5. Is Kirby that much older than them? Like, it's a little off to me as well there, but okay. That's fine. Just one of those convenient things that got dropped in there. You mentioned something, though. We're going to get off track for a second, but I had kind of thought that I might ask you this at the end of this, but I'm going to go ahead and get into this now for a second. So with all of these characters coming back for Scream 7, and I think I've asked you this before, but now that we've seen some trailers and things like that, which we hadn't seen and when I asked you this before, what do you think's happening? Do you think these are flashback scenes with these people? Do you think these are scenes similar to what we've gotten with Billy, where Sam seeing this ghost type thing going on? How do you think all these people are coming back? What's your opinion?
I think it's gonna be AI generated text messages, videos sent to her, or phone calls, or whatever. I'm definitely leaning on that. I've only seen the first initial trailer. I haven't seen anything else. I just saw the other day somebody. Oh, I tell you, Scream boycotters. I tell you, they're brutal.
They are.
I did see somebody take a still image from the trailer and was like, "Guess who this is?" And I took one quick, like I was just scrolling through Facebook.
Yeah.
And of course, I looked at it and I'm like, "Oh." And then I was just like, keep scrolling, try to forget that, because I was like, oh no. I'm like, I hope that's not the case, but I like at the same time, I kind of do. I think that would be kind of cool with what everything's going on. But I think it's going to be AI generated recreations of each of the dead ghost faces coming back to haunt her.
Okay. That's fair. That would be cool. I was just curious what your thoughts were there, because I'm not sure. I love this franchise. I've said that multiple times. I'm very excited for this movie. Really looking forward to being able to see it here in a couple of weeks. Or I guess actually a week when this episode drops, it'll be out. So, really looking forward to it. But I also have some concerns that I'm just trying to keep at bay until I actually see what happens. So, but yeah.
I know I was even scared of its release date because it's at the end of February. But I tell you, man, fucking January was such a banger with a bunch of movies, new releases that my faith is semi-restored in
Okay.
Scream 7. It could be good. It could be
All right.
good.
Very good. From there, we cut to Dr. Stone. We get his kill, which I think is a great kill. I'll get your take on it here in a moment. We then get into maybe the only scene of the movie that I felt like was a little long, but it still wasn't too bad. Honestly, it didn't really deter my thoughts in any. And that's the whole franchise conversation that Mindy leads. We get a conversation as well between Detective Bailey and Kirby. We find out that they've also found Roman's mask. His mask was left at a scene there at the Dr. Stone kill scene. And Sam's file was taken. Detective Bailey seems very suspicious of Kirby, so we're kind of trying to do that whole red herring paint there with her a little bit. And then there at the apartment, when the group is hanging out and kind of bonding and seem to be having fun, across the way, Danny sees Ghostface in their apartment. The group all then gets a text, each one of them, about Ghostface attacking Quinn. And then we get Ghostface attacking the group. Kind of a fun scene, in my opinion, where they're trying to use a ladder to crawl over to Danny's apartment. And we get Annika's kill. Ethan arrives afterwards, so he's also being suspected now. Detective Bailey, of course, very upset that his daughter has been killed, and Gale and Kirby showing up again. So your thoughts here on first Dr. Stone's kill, and then the apartment scene with Ghostface attacking there and everything that went on.
Dr. Stone's kill, I think, was pretty well done. I think it's a pretty gruesome kill from Ghostface. Also with one of the best looking shots of the movie, I think, with Ghostface hiding behind the pane glass. You can't really make him out, but when you get close, you can see kind of his outline. I think to me, it's one of the better shots. There's another really nice shot in this movie as well, but I'll get to that when we get there. But yeah, it's a good kill. I mean, I can't remember. He gets it through the eye or up the nose or something.
Gosh, I just watched this 2 days ago. Yeah.
I watched it yesterday. So.
I just made a note in the face is what my note says, but I think it looked great. I liked it as well. I kind of had forgot about it until watching it the other day, and I'm like, oh yeah, I like this kill. This is pretty rough. But did you enjoy the apartment scene? Did you have fun with it, or what were your thoughts there?
Yeah, so yeah, I enjoyed the apartment scene with the attack and everything like that. I also like what's leading up to it. You get the Cold Core 4 discussion. I thought it was really well done.
I agree.
You got everybody kind of coming clean with things that they're holding back. Like Sam says that she's dating Danny, or that which was a big step for her to open up for them too, right? So I like all that. Like that's a good sequence with these characters that we get. And I think it's creepy that Ghostface was already in the apartment while they were there. And, you don't see him enter. He's just there. So you don't know how he got there, where he is. He's able to maneuver. Well, the character's able to maneuver around this group and steal a whole block of kitchen knives. And nobody even notices it. So, clearly this person's embedded so well in the group that they look right by it. Thought it was really well done. I thought the kill with Quinn was really well done. I think it's cool that Ghostface just goes and tries to attack everybody all at once. It's usually he's taking people out one by one. This one he's like, let's see how many I can get in one go here. Like, let's see. The ladder sequence I think is again one of the best sequences of the movie. A lot of great overhead shots to give you that queasy dizziness kind of action. Also, I remember when we got out of the theater with Sam, she was like, that ladder sequence freaked me out so much, and she's like, it's probably one of my favorite moments of the whole Scream franchise. Okay. So I think it held up very well.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree. I made a note here, just like what you mentioned. I love the fact that Ghostface attacks the group. He's not trying to isolate people at this point like he's done in other films. He's just going in after everybody. I loved that aspect as well. Made a note of that. I also enjoy the ladder sequence because it's different. For one, I think it's shot very well. I love some of the scenes we get in that. I think it's a little predictable. I mean, I think Mindy got stabbed inside, and as did Annika. But I think with her going last across the ladder that she's not going to make it. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. But it was still fun. I thought it was done well. And when she falls and hits her head on that trash can, I'm like, damn, that looked rough. That looked very rough. So I like the way that looked as well. Yeah. What about? I know we mentioned it briefly, but I mentioned there that Detective Bailey seems suspicious of Kirby, and then of course when Ethan arrives after everything, the group is very suspicious of him. Were you buying any of the red herring stuff here? I mean, I know you had seen this movie before, but like the first time you watched it, were you suspicious of Kirby? Were you suspicious of Ethan?
I don't think I was suspicious of Ethan. I thought he was going to go out brutally. Kind of like what we had with Wes in the last movie.
Okay.
I was like, okay, the soft-spoken character is probably going to go out pretty rough. And I do love how that's kind of like, the joke throughout the whole movie is Mindy calling him Ghostface to his face. I do enjoy that. I never really suspected Kirby would be a Ghostface, but then again, I didn't know who would be.
Yeah.
Also, you were calling out predictability with the ladder sequence, and for sure, that's kind of why I have an issue with Mindy and the franchise discussion, because that whole sequence just kind of drove me nuts.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense, but like at the same time, they're saying anybody goes, legacy characters, main characters, everybody, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But by the end of this movie, we clearly know that's not fucking true.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, predictable for sure, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why I say I think that whole franchise talk there. And again, it's not terrible, but it's just the only scene of this movie to me that does drag just a little bit. And I think I feel that way more now than the first time I saw it, because we know it doesn't go. I mean, it doesn't mean anything really at the end of it. So I think that's why it bothers me even more now. But even that, it's not huge. It drags a little for me, and I don't think it's great, but it doesn't really, compared to some other issues that I have coming, that's really minor. So it doesn't bother me too much.
Okay. I just felt like Mindy's performance just felt a little overcooked.
Okay. I can see that. Yeah, I can see what you're saying there. Yeah, definitely fair. Gale and Kirby had both arrived, and we find out that Gale knows all about this abandoned theater that apparently Kirby and the FBI don't know about, nor do the police know about, which seems odd to me that Gale has this information that they don't have. But I do like the shrine. I like when they go inside and we get to see all of the different things from the previous film. We see weapons, we see entire outfits, like you mentioned, we see phones. We see the TV. I mean, there's an outfit in there of just about everybody. We see some stuff that belonged to Dewey, the masks and the costumes. I like the shrine. I like the theater set up here and the way this is done. Sam has her first vision of Billy at this point. She hadn't been having those anymore, but this happens here. We get the conversation between Mindy and Kirby that I feel like you were making reference to earlier. We also get some conversation between Gale and Sam, and they decide that they come up with a plan to try to trace one of the phone calls to figure out where Ghostface is. He ends up calling Sam. They do trace this call and find out that Ghostface is at Gale's place. And then there at Gale's place, we get, Ghostface attacking Gale. Ghostface on the phone with Gale. He kills her boyfriend. Carpenter's sisters show up in time to, we find out, save her. So, give me your thoughts first on the theater and the shrine and this whole setup, and then the Ghostface versus Gale situation.
Well, like you said, Gale just shows up and knows information that nobody else does with zero explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I literally just put "fuck me" bad writing. I will admit it's really cool though. It is really cool. Kind of like with everything you said, you get all the props, guns, weapons, knives, full Ghostface outfits.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. But yeah, like there's like Kirby even said that she's been looking into their bank accounts for like months or whatever, and Gale found it in 10 fucking minutes. Like, give me a break. So that drove me nuts, and that's drove me nuts like throughout every watch. It drives me nuts.
I agree.
Um, See, I still think it would have been better for Sydney to be there. Is one of my notes as well.
Oh, I agree, because that would have been amazing to see her in the theater seeing all this stuff. That would have
Her
been.
reaction, she literally kills them all. You know, she's killed every single one of them at some point, other than the last two. You know, well,
Right.
she did kill one of them.
Yeah.
Once. So like it would have been so much more effective if it was Sydney in that room instead of Gail. Well, Gail would have been okay. I guess she's been a part of every franchise, every movie as well. But like,
Yeah.
would have been so much more effective for her instead of Sam. Yeah, I'd like to see what that movie looked like with Sydney in it in that moment.
I agree completely, because Gail doesn't have, she's been there through all of it as well. And the only reaction you get from her is when she's looking at Dewey's stuff, which is fine. I understand her having a reaction there, but we got nothing from her from all the rest of these killers that she's been involved in. And we got nothing. So, yeah, this is where, I feel like Scream 4 and Scream 5, I had issues with the earlier parts of the movie, but then enjoyed the second half. This one, I have incredibly enjoyed the first half of this movie. A couple of little things here and there, but for the most part, I've loved the first half of this movie. And now I'm starting to have some problems here with it. Because again, Gail knowing this information, so little reaction from her. Mindy and Kirby's conversation, I don't think works the way Kirby's horror fandom worked in 4. It seems forced to me again. So.
Yeah, nobody talks like that.
Right.
She just sits down and is like, I hear you're a horror fan. What's your blah, 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 and they just go back and forth, and it's just like nobody starts a conversation that way. How about hey, hi, how are you? So you've been through this, I got scars too, there's just
exactly.
It's just so fucking dumb. I actually put equals lame. Yeah.
I'm with you there. Yeah. What about Ghostface in Gail's apartment? That whole setup.
I liked it. I think even Ghostface makes some good points on the phone where he says like, I don't think that we've ever talked before on the phone, which I'm kind of looking back and being like, oh, maybe they didn't actually speak on the phone.
Yeah.
So like she's never been at the end of a phone call conversation before, so I kind of like that aspect. I like the boyfriend's death. I thought that was pretty sweet. That kind of that stealth maneuver from Ghostface, and then when he throws him through the window, and then the TV stand, and then he sits up there and wipes his knife out. I think that's another really well done shot of Ghostface. And then there's some bad dialogue here as well. I wrote down. This is one that always sticks with me since the first time I watched it as well, which is Gail says, "That's why I'm going to shoot you in the head." I'm just like, that's not very well written. I do like the Star 69 maneuver.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'll agree. I'll give that.
I don't think that that's a thing anymore, but I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then Sam and Tara show up out of nowhere, and then Ghostface immediately leaves. So they show up from one room, and then Ghostface leaves through another door. How many doors does she have to her apartment building? You only have one entrance in any other apartment I've ever seen in my life. So
yeah.
Like, are those condos? Do they have two? Does anybody know? Hit us up in the comments. Let me know if your condo has 2 doors.
No, I agree. I agree with a lot of what you're saying there. The only issues I have, other than I actually made a note about where did Ghostface go, so I've got that with you there. I do love the phone call because I was like you when that gets mentioned. I'm like, oh well, they really never did. So I do think it's cool that Gail's on this end of the phone call now. Don't really like her dialogue during the phone call, but I like the fact that she's getting one. I thought the kill of the boyfriend, like you said, was really good, but it's just more that frustrates me with Gail's character because this picks up 1 year after Scream 5. So you're going to tell me that Dewey died a year ago and you're already living with somebody else. It just makes me dislike Gale even more. Like I just don't understand Gale. I really, really don't. But
well, they had been separated for a while before then too, right?
they had, but I can't believe that with everything they had gone through together, and then he dies. And your last comment is you're going to write a book about his life, and then in a year
And then
later,
not do it.
yeah, a year later, not only did you not write that book, but you're living with another guy, and you're back to trying to cash in on all of this. I don't like Gale, in case you couldn't tell.
Yeah, no, and I think all your points are valid as well. You know, Gale's a fast-paced person, so I can kind of see her moving on, not relatively quick. I'm not saying that Dewey doesn't live within her heart at all times, but
Sure.
I guarantee they were separated for probably a couple of years at the beginning of the first movie. So it's like she had probably already moved on by then. You know, you can only
Yeah.
wait for so long,
I guess
and especially with
that's fair.
either one of them not willing to start a conversation, I'm sure doesn't help either, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I'm probably nitpicking Gale, but yeah, whatever. So then they come up with a plan to get Ghostface to this theater and to trap him. But before this happens, we get the subway scene. I will say I like the subway scene for the most part. I think it's cool that they're in there, and not only do they see all the Ghostface masks, but they also see Jason and Michael and Pinhead and Freddy. And there's even a scene where there's like you see a red balloon, and it looks like somebody in like the yellow raincoat, so like Georgie from It, like that's in there as well. Yeah, I like some of that stuff that we see in there. So even though sometimes I complain about fan service, I kind of thought that was cool in the subway. I enjoyed it. Mindy, of course, getting separated from the group, and so now she's with Ethan, who she's, like you said, been calling Ghostface, this whole time. And then we get Mindy's attack. Yeah, your thoughts on the subway scene?
Yeah, like you said, I like all the cameos. You know, I think there's something. I think I read somewhere when this movie came out that there's something like 52 different horror characters in that scene. So
yeah, there's a lot. There's like the twins from The Shining. There's a couple of girls dressed up that way. Yeah, there's a lot going on in there.
Yeah, like I saw Babadook in there. There's a wide range of characters in there. So I do like kind of picking them out every time I watch it and seeing something different.
Yeah.
I think Mindy on the train with Ghostface is probably my favorite part of the movie.
Okay.
I think it's tense. I like the way it's shot. I like the way it goes dark, and I like that Ghostface literally kills in a crowd of people with people literally less than a foot away and still gets away with it.
Yeah.
For me, I think it had the most tension. I remember watching it in the theater and like seeing Ghostface pop up like 2 feet closer. Like every time I was just like, oh shit, like it's gonna go down here.
Yeah.
Because like before then, you'd have had different Ghostfaces on this train, walking straight up to them and then, veering right real quick to get out. Right. So I appreciated it when they finally did get to it. Again, you get Mindy at the end being like, oh, I didn't even call who it was. And, I'm not even going to make it to the end now.
Right.
So, but she does.
One thing I'll mention here, because I forgot to mention it a minute ago, because it does throw me off back at Gale's apartment, because we were just talking earlier about how Ghostface attacks the entire group there at their apartment. And then here on the subway, he's, killing people with people right there, like you said, 2 feet away. But yet at Gale's place, as soon as Tara and Sam show up, he's out of there. That throws me off a little bit. Like, why was he willing to attack, like 4 or 5 people at once at one apartment? And he's willing to kill on a subway with a bunch of people around, but then 2 girls run him off at Gale's place. That throws me off a little bit as well. I don't know if you've got some reasoning there that I'm not thinking about, but.
Yeah, so you have different, like there's 3 different Ghostfaces, right?
Right. We don't know that.
In the way, no, but in the way I perceive it at the end of the movie is that Ghostface during the scene at the convenience store was the cop.
Okay.
That's how I perceive it. I don't know if timeline somebody has already debunked that, but I picture that, and then I think the killer on the subway and the one in Gale's apartment is Quinn. So somebody with smaller stature, not as strong as the dad. They're definitely more tactile. So they're gonna get in and out without being overpowered by anybody else.
Okay,
So if
that's fair.
yeah, and especially when somebody comes in waving a gun right away, you're definitely gonna be shook out of there for sure.
Yeah. No, okay, that's fair. Although, so you think it was Quinn at Gail's apartment?
Yeah.
Okay. You might be right. My only question is, could Quinn throw the boyfriend through the glass like she did?
I mean,
Maybe. I mean, I
I
don't
mean the
know.
little,
That's just my
I,
question.
I mean the little girl from the last one killed Dewey's.
That's true. Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
That's fair.
you put on that ghost face suit and you get magical powers. I tell you, and you also grow a foot.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, fair enough. I just was curious about that.
I will say, with the right momentum, there could be a possible way of throwing him.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could, you rock him back and forth a little bit. You might be able to heave him out of there. But that dude is probably pushing 230.
Yeah, he was a big dude. Okay, fair enough. I just thought I'd ask. From there, then we get to the theater. Sam has another vision of Billy. She ends up taking his knife after that situation. Detective Bailey calls Sam and lets her know that Kirby was fired from the FBI. So he's again putting this on Kirby. Ghostface ends up attacking and stabbing Tara, and then a second Ghostface arrives, and they both attack Chad and just go off on him. Kirby is able to kind of get in and save them before Detective Bailey shows up and shoots Kirby, and then we start getting our Ghostface reveals that it's Detective Bailey, that it's Ethan, and that Quinn is actually still alive, and that whole death was faked. And Detective Bailey showed up in time to get rid of her body before anybody else saw all this. We also find out that they're kin to Richie, and that's what this thing is all about. Before Kirby's able to save them again, and then we just get a lot of battling going on, different situations. I think Kirby gets stabbed by Ethan. Sam injures Ethan at one point. Tara stabs Ethan. We think he's dead. Sam shoots and kills Quinn. We get some interaction between, then Sam and Detective Bailey, and Sam putting on the Ghostface costume, and before finally they get the upper hand and are able to stab him and kill him. Ethan comes back one more time, but Kirby shoots him. So, and then we find out that basically everybody's alive. Gail lived, Mindy lived, Chad lived. Yeah, give me your thoughts on the finale of this film, this whole theater scene and everything that goes down here.
If this movie ended differently with some actual character deaths, I don't think it would be as messy as what it is. But I guess we'll start at the beginning with Sam taking Billy's knife. I thought it was really well done. I don't think that they decided to even attempt to hide Skeet Ulrich's age in this film.
They really didn't. Yeah,
because even Sam made a comment on it and is like, they didn't even. They're like, his haircut is so stupid now, because they didn't even bother trying.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I put down too, you should have kept the creepy boyfriend in. That was one of my notes. But then again, I knew what was already going to happen.
Right.
And then you get the Chad and Tara discussion. I thought it was really fun. It was cute. And then, Chad gets stabbed 8 fucking times.
Yeah.
And I like the reveal of 2 Ghostface right out the bat and the simultaneously stabbing. It's such a cool shot to have. And in the end of the day, it means nothing. But I really enjoyed that sequence because I was like, oh, that's fucking badass. They're just going to town.
Yeah, and then they both wipe the blood off the knife at the same time. That I thought that looked really good. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. I've liked the way this is going so far.
Yeah, I thought that was incredible. And then we get the reveal of 3 ghost faces, which I thought was also really cool. I thought that was well done. And then I don't know, the reveal and the backstory, the motive is fine. I mean, would it make sense that the dad was first on the scene to swap a body out? I don't know. they could do something that quickly.
Yeah.
I guess with her help, maybe. Yeah, I forgot who Quinn even was. Like the first time I watched this movie, I forgot who she even was at the end of the movie. I was like, who the fuck is that? so
Okay.
so I just don't think her character had that much of a lasting impact for it to be like this huge reveal. I think the only reason why is because she was supposed to be killed off at the beginning that it holds up. And you get Ethan with the knife in the mouth. I thought was really cool.
Yeah. We're
and that was a good
Yeah,
that was a good sequence too between Sam and Tara, having to let her go and fight for herself and, trust in her to make the right decisions in life.
Right.
So yeah, that's a good metaphor. Another thing, the sister shot in the head. That was fine. That was quick, but the dad and Sam running at each other while he has a gun pointed at her.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
And then as soon as they lock up, he fires the gun.
Yeah.
It's just like those kind of moments in this movie that like make your head scratch. Like it would have been fine if they both pulled the trigger and then both guns were empty and then they ran at each other. I would have accepted that.
Right.
But it's just bad. I do like Sam donning Billy's outfit.
I agree.
I thought that was really cool as well. As well as making the phone call back to him, I thought it was really well done as well. I think we get that in multiple Scream movies from Sydney doing the same thing.
Sure.
And then the dad gets stabbed in the eye, and I like Tara's face as she's watching. And, watching Sam's reaction, I thought was really well done.
Yeah.
And then the movie ends and Mindy says, "We all survived. What a twist." Is literally Mindy's quote.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's just coddling your audience. Like that's just having no balls to take this movie anywhere. Because Chad somehow survives, Mindy survives, Gail survives. Like 2 people die in this whole fucking movie from Ghostface.
Yeah.
And it's bonkers. Kirby survives.
Yeah.
Like just grow some balls and kill off a main character. Like even if it's just one. Chad would have been like completely heartbreaking. I think if Chad and Gail went, that would have been like perfect. I would have had probably a lot less of an issue with this ending that I do. But yeah, this movie just ain't got no balls at the end of it.
I agree. So I'm 100% with you. I was enjoying things when we get the Ghostface reveals and we find out there's 3. I was like, that's pretty cool. We haven't done that yet. We've normally had 2. Once we had 1. The fact that we stepped it up and got 3, that's pretty cool. Until we got the backstory as to why. I don't like the backstory. I have a hard time believing any of this. I have a hard time believing that Richie had 2 siblings, and yet no one seemed to know about that or suspect that as an issue after he was killed in the last one. Even Gail and her magical powers to find things didn't seem to know that.
I guess we're coming back to the Gail not noticing that that's Billy Loomis's mom and number 2. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't
think about that.
I don't buy this backstory at all. Yeah, there's just, and to me, I care less about these 3 killers than I have any of the killers in the previous 5 films. This is the worst group of Ghostface, in my opinion. And I hate it because I had liked how aggressive Ghostface was. I really liked some of the kills. I was loving Ghostface. And then it's these 3, and this is the reason. It just is such a huge letdown to me. Such a disappointment. Here again, I don't like Dermot Mulroney's acting in this setup. Now, I liked some of the fights. I liked, like you said, Ethan getting stabbed in the mouth by Tara. I liked the interaction between Sam and Tara there when Tara's hanging. I love that Sam puts on Billy's costume and makes the phone call and how aggressive she is with killing Detective Bailey. And even Ethan still being alive. And then, Kirby kills him with the TV and then makes a comment about she learned that elsewhere, which I don't know how she learned it because she wasn't in Scream. the first one. So I don't know how she learned that there, but that's fine.
It would have been in Stab though.
Yeah, I guess so. It just, but this ending bothers me so much, and it's odd because there are parts of it that I do enjoy. I like the battling. There's some great stuff here from Sam and Tara, but the rest of it I don't like. And then, like you said, the fact that everybody lives, like we couldn't kill anyone. How Chad survived, I have no idea. I like Chad. It would have sucked that he died, but do something. Gail survived. We find out Mindy survives. No matter, with Kirby getting shot and stabbed both, I think there in the final scene, she still survives. Tara gets banged up pretty good. She survives. I'm like, yeah, okay. The killers suck. The motive sucks, and nobody dies. And it's just so disappointing to me to end this film because I had really enjoyed this movie up until this finale. And then it just, it takes the wind out of my sails so bad.
Yeah, hey, I have the exact same issues with it. It's really funny that you say that too, like about Kirby with the TV thing.
Yeah.
Because there's a moment earlier in the film too when they're in the van and she's like, they say something like Randy died in the middle of the day by getting pulled into a van and stabbed to death or whatever, and Kirby didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Kirby didn't know that? Like, she's a big Stab fan. She's a big horror fan. Are you telling me that she lived in Woodsboro? Or are you telling me that she didn't know the full story about how everybody went down? Right. That was also a moment where I was like, that just doesn't make sense to me.
I agree. And then especially bring that back to, but she knew the TV. I mean, it's just, it's just one of those things where it doesn't all come together for me. So this one's tough to rate for me because, again, the first half to 3/4 of this movie, with the exception of a couple of few, little things here and there, I was really enjoying. I remember loving it the first time I watched it, rewatching it the other day. I'm like, this is really good. This is a really good movie for Scream 6. And then it just starts to fall apart and becomes a shit show at the end. So on a scale of 1 to 10, Brendan, you're going to go first. What would you rate Scream 6?
Well, actually, I'm going to do the honors of Sam is going to go first.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's even better.
Because I had to ask her after watching it what her thoughts were. Would you like to just harbor a guess?
I have, and maybe I'm way off because I haven't. That's one thing is I don't know Sam's opinion of some of these since she hasn't been doing this with us. I feel like when this first came out, I remember y'all talking about it, and if I remember correctly, when you came out of the theater, Sam was super hyped and loved it in the beginning. I think that's the case. I can see her maybe having some issues towards, I don't know. For some reason, I don't feel like Sam is as bothered by this as we are. So I'm going to say Sam said a 7.
Oh, too low, my friend.
Really? So even more than that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. So Sam gave this movie a 9.5.
Wow. I thought it would drop some. I knew she loved it in the beginning, but I thought a rewatch she might, come to her senses a little bit.
No, she is definitely more than happy with this movie. Okay. Which good for her.
Yeah, that's fine. It does have some really good stuff. It's just, the whole package. It's not there.
We talked about it yesterday, and she's like, out of all the Scream sequels that I actually wanted to watch, she said it was definitely the later half that she would have actually wanted to sit down in. Unfortunately, the last couple of films didn't line out properly with her schedule, and then some personal stuff happened today, so she didn't join today. But yeah, she's like, this is my favorite Scream sequel out of all of them. So yeah.
Okay. I can see it until the end, and now I'm just like, wow, Sam, did you miss the end of the movie? But I mean, that's okay.
No, she really enjoyed it. As for me, I've been fighting all day with this. Um, I gave the last one a 7. Um, I had the same issues with you, man. Is that like 2/3 of this movie, are really well done. Besides like a couple of nitpicking pieces, like um, everything we've talked about, that ending does tend to drag it down quite a bit. But I think the 2/3 of the ride is better than what I kind of got throughout the whole Scream 7. Not by much, but a little
Okay.
bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this. I'm gonna regret this later, I'm sure. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Okay.
I feel like the lack of legacy characters in this movie did it a huge favor. With just focusing on the core new characters. I wish that more of the legacy characters were taken out of this movie to develop the whole friend group instead of just the core 4. But I'm happy with the development we got through those characters. I'm kind of excited to see where Chad and Mindy go next in the next movie. I think Sam and Tara's relationship was a lot more fleshed out and more well done in this movie. And Ghostface is a lot more brutal in this movie, and takes a lot more daring chances. It's well shot. The pacing's excellent for one of the longest Scream movies. This one's like 2 hours and 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one of the longer ones, and it just flies by. So I'll give it a 7.5.
Okay. So I agree with a lot of what you said. Ghostface is brutal. I really like some of the kills. I love the relationship between Sam and Tara. I think it's put together better than the previous one. I didn't mind it in the previous one, but I think it's done better in this one. So many things about the first 2/3 of this movie that I really, really enjoy and can see why someone would give this an 8, 9, 9.5, whatever, based on the first 2/3 of this movie, because it's fantastic. But the end of this one bothers me so much, so very, very much. Again, because these are my least favorite killers, which is such a disappointment to me. Again, because I loved Ghostface so much through this movie. I don't buy that backstory. And, I've heard a lot of people make the comment about they were kind of glad that Neve Campbell wasn't in this film. And I've even heard some people that, I don't understand it, but are not super excited about her return for 7. But at the end of the day, I missed Sidney in this movie. Sidney Prescott is Scream. I missed her being in this, despite some of the other very good things that this movie did. And like you and I've talked about in this episode, would love to have seen Sidney in these situations, to have her story continue with this shrine and with all of these, masks showing up and just everything happening the way it did. It makes me miss Sidney even more. I still like the movie. I will continue to say there is not a bad Scream movie, but initially I was floating around the idea of a 7, and then I look bad, and that's basically what I gave 4 and 5 both. And I can't give this one that, because this ending just frustrates the fuck out of me. So I'm gonna go 6.5. I'll go 6.5 for Scream 6. Yeah, it's so good for 2/3, and then it's almost just ruined for me at that point. But yeah, overall, I still like it. I just have more issues with this one than I have any of the other franchise, and it's because of the ending. So 6.5 for me, which is, I know we're going to come back and rank them next month, but that's the lowest score that I've given a Scream movie yet. So yeah, that already kind of tells you. Yeah, 6.5, which is, I know that's different because I hear so many people that I feel like a lot of people Scream 3 and 4 are the two that get the least maybe not so much four. Four did not do well as far as numbers, but there's a lot of people that love some of the characters in that one. I think most of the time I hear people talk about three being the worst one in the franchise, but I have heard a few fours thrown out there once in a while. But yeah, this is a 6.5 for me. Still enjoyed the rewatch. I just hate the end.
Yeah, hey, I get it. I was able to look past the motives of the family and everything like that, and I clearly didn't think about how nobody knew that Richie didn't have a brother. I clearly looked right past that. Yeah, I you know what, I do agree. I do think this is a pretty consistent and enjoyable franchise to roll through.
Yeah.
Even on, your sixth or seventh watch of each of these movies, right? They still hold up fairly well. So
there's fun things about all of them, in my opinion. They each have some good qualities. So yeah, that helps.
Yeah, and I was a little worried too about going through this franchise and being one that I don't typically tend to revisit. And I was like, if I watch these and not like them, people are going to come after me, man. Ghostface is going to be calling my phone here after I'm done with all these. So I was a little concerned about going in. But yeah, it's actually quite an enjoyable franchise to kind of battle through. Do I think you should watch them all the time? No, because I think after so long and giving it some time to breathe, you can go back and rewatch it and pick up on new nuances that you might have missed the previous time. So, or catch something different out of it. But overall, I agree. I think it is a very consistent franchise.
Yeah, I completely agree. The one more thing I'll mention there real quick that we didn't talk about is not only did no one realize that Richie had family, again, because this takes place a year after the events of Scream 5. So you're also going to tell me that this detective had a son that was murdered in Ghostface killings a year ago, and everybody's perfectly fine with him being involved in this case, at least in the beginning, until his daughter gets killed too. Like, that also throws me off a little bit.
Well, they all changed their names, right? Like,
okay,
Ethan's last name isn't Laundrie, or I think yeah, it's Ethan Laundrie, and Detective Bailey isn't Richie's name, isn't Richie's last name.
That's true. Okay, that's fair. That just crossed my mind just now as we were talking about all this. I'm like, how did they not know about him? But yeah, okay, that's fair. I'll give you that. I was still nitpicking. All right. Well, yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I've loved going through this franchise. Scream has always been one of my favorite franchises for the longest time, just because, I'm a franchise guy. I love Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, all that stuff. But I feel like every one of those franchises has at least one bad movie in it, and I don't feel like Scream does. So I think that's one of the reasons why I appreciate this franchise so much. And it's been a lot of fun to go through it and get to talk with you about it and go over some things. So I'm looking forward to Scream 7, going and checking it out. I know you and Sam will do an episode on it. I'm sure I'm going to do an episode on it after I see it at the theater, and then get you to come back and we'll talk about the franchise in general and rank them. And we'll do that on a live and have some fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited.
And then we do have Scream trivia next week on your channel, so that'll be fun too. We're not quite done talking Ghostface yet.
No, not yet. Not for a while, anyways. I'm sure there'll be a couple more videos coming out about Ghostface here in the future.
I'm sure. All right. Well, we will wrap this up. But before we do, Brennan, go ahead again and take a minute to talk about your channel and any episodes you want to plug that you have coming up.
Yeah. So I am one half of Our Life in Horror. We do movie review lives. We do short reviews of new feature films as well. I do a lot of physical media stuff when I am able to. What else? We host game nights. What do I have coming up? Like you said, Scream Trivia, I believe, is on Monday. Unless things change, I'll let everybody know.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing else after that until the following Thursday. Fingers crossed, we still got that horror couple coming on to talk about a movie I've been dying to rewatch, which is The Wretched, and we'll be doing a review on that.
All right, very good. Definitely check it out. Again, I know anybody that knows my channel is already familiar with you guys, but Definitely go check out everything. I'm trying to think of now everything that I have coming up. Next week, I have episodes on Companion. I didn't do an episode on that one last year when it came out, so I'm going to go back and do a review on Companion. Isaiah from the Bitter Wolf is also going to be on next week. We're going through the Texas Chainsaw franchise. We're going to be talking about Texas Chainsaw 3. And then I think the Fog, like the original Fog, I was going to do something on that. I just picked it up on 4K, and so I was going to go back and rewatch that and do a review on it next week. So, not to mention, right now, as you said, the Scream Trivia Live, and then I'm also on A&B Horror Movies Live next week as well. So busy week for me next week. A couple of lives and 3 episodes to get up. A lot happening next week.
Nice.
But again, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I appreciate you. I know I've taken up a lot of your time here lately and been booking you a lot, but I appreciate you coming on. We've still got to finish up Candyman, so we've got a couple of Candyman movies to get to in the future, and then you and Bo are going to come on and we're going to talk Superman, so that'll be fun.
Yep.
But again, as always, thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
Sean, it is always a pleasure, and I will always be on whenever you need me.
I appreciate that. And again, everybody, thank you for watching. Leave some comments. Let Brendan and I know what you think about Scream 6 and where you would put it in this franchise. I guess we'll wrap it up. So I'll be back in a couple of days to talk about Companion with you. So until then, I'll see you soon.